This is CEM, with Golden Butter Sports, and I'm here to let that butter spread until you rotten, dirty, hateful, low down, hell-bound cowboy haters. Yeah, I am talking to you. And I just mean that in the sports sense. It's not personal. It's all in fun. It's all about sports. But the season haven't even started yet. We barely have two preseason games. Barely. The preseason game starts tomorrow. And folks are already coming out with hateful things, illogical things, just twisted things to say about the Dallas Cowboys. And I know why they're doing it. And if you don't know, you should know this by now. You should. Why are they doing this? Because the Dallas Cowboys are the number one draw in the NFL. That's why they're doing it. And they're doing it so that they can get clicks on their little websites and their little podcasts or whatever the case may be. And so they want to try to draw attention because some people, honestly, some people are literally making money off of being negative when they talk about the Dallas Cowboys. This is some of their good bread and butter right here. This is the goose that laid the golden eggs, if you will. And I mean the Cowboys are golden. And why are they golden? Because the Dallas Cowboys, by definition, are America's team. Now, you might not like that. You might hate that. And I got something to say to you about that. So, that's just the way it is, partner. Get used to it. It's been that way since the 70s. Yeah, since the 70s. And by the way, the Dallas Cowboys didn't call themselves America's team. Neither did the Cowboy players call themselves that. That name was given to them by Bob Ryan. Most people should know this by now. Bob Ryan of NFL Films gave them that name after they lost the Super Bowl in 1978 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, why would you give a team like that just lost the Super Bowl a name like that? Because the Dallas Cowboys, before they were even called America's team, was America's draw. They were drawing like none other. Nobody drew attention like the Dallas Cowboys because people love to see them. And what I mean by that, they love to see them win, and they especially love to see them lose. People love the Dallas Cowboys, and people love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. And so, therefore, the Cowboys have been a draw like none other since the 70s, partner. And it's not going to change, especially when the Dallas Cowboys are winning. So, if you hate the Dallas Cowboys, I don't care. Hate them. That's fine. But what I suggest to you is be logical when you hate the Dallas Cowboys. And let me just tell you this. Stop listening to these people up north or whoever these cats are, these cartoon characters on ESPN, one in particular, or whoever he is. Some of these guys up there, listen, some of those guys up there are pretty good. But some of these guys are just, listen, all they doing is just getting clickbaits. Stop listening to some of these people up there. They not down here in the South where I am. I'm here in Dallas. We have insiders here in Dallas. They know what's going on. Listen, Dallas Cowboy fans are not illogical as some people, like the cartoon character, calls us. No. We can be very logical. Now, here's the thing. Do we have crazy cowboy haters? Oh, goodness, yes. Yeah. Some of them can be Looney Tune. But that's the way it is with all fans when it comes to their teams. Now, let me ask you a logical question. Do you want your team to win the Super Bowl? Well, yeah, you do. Well, that's the same way I feel about my team. Are you hopeful that the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl for Cowboy lovers. Well, yeah. Well, guess what? That's the same way people feel about their team. They are hopeful that their team will win the Super Bowl. See, we all have something in common. Now, let's just be realistic. The Dallas Cowboys are not winning the Super Bowl every year. That's just impossible. They haven't done it in 25, 26 years and counting or whatever the case may be. Nobody wins the Super Bowl every year. No, no. But are we hopeful that they can win? Will it be our year? That's our expectations. That's what we want. Every team wants that, right? So we're not illogical as some people say that we are. No, we're not. In fact, let's just take a look at some of the teams that have expectations of winning the Super Bowl. And before I do that, I told you that the hate for the Dallas Cowboys is illogical at times. It is. For instance, I told you in another podcast that there are going to be some that are going to bring up that the Dallas Cowboys hadn't won a Super Bowl since 1995. Okay, so what? They haven't won the Super Bowl since 1995. And that's old news. Okay. But do you think we care about you rubbing it in our face all the time? Bringing it up and glorifying in that? No, we don't really care about that. No. We know our team hadn't won in a long time. But is that going to stop us from cheering for our team and being hopeful for our team? No. Are you crazy? We love our team down here. Regardless of how sorry they are, how good they are, we're going to still cheer for them. Now, let me just use your teams for an example. Before Patrick Mahomes boy come running through the NFL, and they on a nice little streak right now, when was the last time they had won a Super Bowl? Before he come down here, when was the last time? It was 50 years before the Kansas City Chiefs had won a Super Bowl. 50. But did you hear anybody bringing up every single year that the Kansas City Chiefs hadn't won a Super Bowl in 50 years? No, you hadn't heard that. What about the Cincinnati Bengals? Did you not know before Joe Burrow come running through the NFL and Jamar Chase? Did you not know that the Bengals hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years? But did you hear anybody blowing it up in their face every year? Did the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals, did they even care? No, they didn't care. Guess what? Every time I saw these stadiums, people were still over there buying tickets, eating popcorn or whatever it was, cheering for them in cold weather, hot weather, whatever the case may be. They were still cheering for their team. But nobody was blowing up in their face that these teams hadn't won anything in 50 years and 30 years. They didn't care. So what makes you think that we care? We don't care. But let's keep going with some of your teams. What about the Minnesota Vikings? When last time they won the Super Bowl? Oh, they haven't. Okay, let's ask a better question. When the last time they went to the Super Bowl? You know they haven't been to the Super Bowl since the 70s. That also go for the Miami Dolphins, who hadn't won a Super Bowl since the 70s. Yeah. What about the mighty Buffalo Bills? They on a roll right now with Josh Allen. But when was the last time they went to the Super Bowl? Because they hadn't won anything. They hadn't been since 93. Yeah. What about the Jets, Jets? Let me stop and pause with them right quick. In New York, the media capital of the world, where everything is just over-glorified all over the place when it comes to these people over there in New York, yeah. But when was the last time the Jets won the Super Bowl? They hadn't won the Super Bowl since, Joe Namath. Yeah, him, right, that brother there. Well, what year was that, brother? What year was that? 1969, homeboy. Yeah. 1969. Joe Namath with the guarantee. Yeah, beat the Baltimore Colts. But New York is not continually bringing up the fact that the Jets hadn't won a Super Bowl since 1969. You don't hear them talking about that every year. No, but this is the media capital of the world, right? At least that's what I was told, or I thought it was. But they don't bring it up every year. In fact, let's talk about the Jets again. Why do you think they won in the Super Bowl this year? They got expectations now, don't they? Why? One, they have a good defense. And two, they have Aaron Rodgers. And three, they just signed Dalvin Cook. They think they going. And four, the division is not that strong now, other than the Buffalo Bills. New England Patriots are not that good now. So it's going to be a race between Buffalo and the Jets, right? That's what everybody's thinking. But the Jets think they win the Super Bowl. I've heard you. I've heard the Jets talk about that. They think they're going. Okay. Well, see, they have expectations. Well, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers, let's ask him. Aaron, when last time you won a Super Bowl, brother? When last time you been? I want somebody to walk up on Aaron Rodgers and keep saying in his face all day, every day, hey, man, you know y'all ain't been to the Super Bowl. The teams that you played for when you was with the Packers, you hadn't won the Super Bowl since you won it here in Cowboy Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Whatever year that was, it was a long time ago. You think Aaron Rodgers is going to listen to you or listen to us? Any of that nonsense? Nobody's bringing it up in Aaron Rodgers' face. They definitely not going to walk up in his face and say that. Go ahead, do it then. See what happened. Go ahead. Aaron Rodgers is not going to care. Neither of these teams are caring about what we bring up, about how long these teams haven't won a Super Bowl or haven't been. Okay? They don't really care. But because it's the Dallas Cowboys, and when we say the Dallas Cowboys, by definition, we talking America's team. And people cannot stand it. But let's just keep on going. The mighty Pittsburgh Steelers, they have 6 Super Bowls, but when the last time they been? Yeah, it's been a minute, right? Yeah. Mike Tomlin's still there. Hey, I have respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do. They have an ownership that doesn't mess with the coaches, the players. Amen. They don't. Some our organization here, they need to take a lesson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Leave the players, the coaches alone. Let the players and the coaches do their thing. But, we have people down here that want to be general manager, owner, and coach. And if they could play, they could probably do that too and call plays. But see, that doesn't work. And it hadn't worked for 25, 30 years almost. But I digress. Let's move on. See, it's overemphasized when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. And people get real illogical when it comes to hating the Dallas Cowboys. I get it. I told you. You can hate the Dallas Cowboys all you want to. There are teams that I hate. But if a team is good, they good. If they better than my team, they better than my team. Just got to give that up, partner. Yeah. That's just how it is. So, what about one team that's just been flattening us all the time these last couple of years? The mighty 49ers. The 49ers, they've been to the Super Bowl a couple of times. But when the last time they won one? They haven't won one since Steve Young played. That was back in 1994, brother. See, what I'm telling you is, it's not overblown. See, when it comes to other teams, but when it's the Cowboys, it's glorified. And I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on going with this. Let's just answer the question. What about these teams that have never, ever sniffed the Super Bowl at all? What about them? Do you hear people talking about those teams? How they've never, ever won a Super Bowl? No, you don't hear that. No. Now let me deal with the NFC East. Because we got some Giants fans that like to talk crazy to me. And they real illogical. They can just throw up anything. Giants, you've been in the league almost 30 years before the Cowboys even came into existence. Okay? And the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington used to be Redskins, now called the Commanders. Your teams have been in the league way longer than the Dallas Cowboys. And let me just go ahead and, throw the Green Bay Packers in this too. And the Chicago Bears. These teams have been in the league longer than the Dallas Cowboys. And don't be bringing up them little old funky championships that you're talking about. Don't nobody care about that. We're talking about relevant Super Bowls. That's what we're talking about since 1967. 67, the Super Bowl era. We're talking about right there. That's where we draw the line. Right there. Because that's the standard right now. That's the relevant standard. So I'm not trying to hear about that other nonsense that you're trying to bring up. I don't care. Don't bring it to me. I ain't going to listen to you. We talking about Super Bowl since 1967. Giants, how many Super Bowls you got? If you've been here longer than the Dallas Cowboys, you only have 4. Yeah, but you've been here longer. Redskins, now the Commanders, been here longer. How many you have? You only have 3. Philadelphia, you just recently won one a couple of years back, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago, but you only have 1. That's it. And by the way, to you Philadelphia Eagle fans, to you, where were you when you lost the Super Bowl? See, I know Philadelphia Eagle fans. They down here in Texas. And boy, when the Cowboys lose, you can't shut their mouth. But when they lost the Super Bowl, I couldn't get a single conversation out of any one of them. Not one. Where were you? Don't come out now. I'm not going to listen to you. No. How many Super Bowls you got, Philly? 1. But all of you have been in the league longer than the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm not trying to hear you. None of you. You can keep it moving. So now, until you pass the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not trying to hear none of you. That go for the Green Bay Packers. You only have 4. And you got spotted the first 2. What about the mighty Chicago Bears? Being in the league, I mean, man, what, the 30s, 20s, whatever it is. I could go back and find a history. I ain't trying to go back that far. I wasn't born. No, not back then. You only have 1 Super Bowl, Doc, out all these years? 1? What's up? 85 Super Bowl shuffle? Walter Payton, Jim McMahon, them boys there, Refrigerator Perry. Yeah, Mike Ditka used to be a special teams coach with the Cowboys. You haven't been since 85, Doc. Or you've been, but you lost. But when last time you won? It was in 85. Okay, so none of you teams, I'm not trying to hear you. Because when you bring up standards, which by the way are Super Bowls, you fall short of Dallas. And you've been here longer than Dallas. So I'm just trying to be logical with you. But see, you can't have logical conversations with people that all they want to do is just hate. That's it. So now, let's move on and rub it in Tom Brady's face. Why am I bringing up Tom Brady? Because Tom Brady was a known cheater, him and Bill Belichick. Yeah, they were caught. But are you going to rub it in Bill Belichick's face every single year that he cheated? He was caught cheating. Then they threw away the evidence, burned the evidence up. Roger Goodell, who I can do without him. They caught these guys cheating, the Patriots. They had no business beating the Rams, the greatest show on turf. They were cheating against Philadelphia, against Carolina. They were filming these guys. They was caught. And then when they were caught, they turned around and caught him cheating again, filming the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. You out your mind. You were already a good team. But are we going to run up on Bill Belichick and the Patriot fans and Tom Brady, who, by the way, he threw all his evidence away, destroyed his phone during Deflategate and all that crap, and he got suspended and all that stuff? Are we going to rub that in their face every single year and put asterisks by their Super Bowls? No. Do you think the New England Patriots fans care? No. Do you think Bill Belichick cares? No. Do you think Tom Brady cares when he's flashing those 7 rings that he has on his fingers? Do you think he cares? No. Go run up on him and tell him. Say, man, I don't appreciate you cheating my team, man. No, the media is not going to do that. But let the Dallas Cowboys do something wrong, and then it's blowed up. Yeah. For instance, I saw an article that the Dallas Cowboys was not going to win a Super Bowl in another 18 years. Oh, you silly man. Who, by the way, the guy that said that, I have some respect for him, but he's silly. It was a silly take by him. Man, you don't even know if you're going to be here 18 years or 18 months or 18 minutes or 18 seconds. I'm a firm believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah, I believe in him. And he's the one that has our breath in his hand, whether you believe in him or not. But I do. Now, if he wants us to be around here in another 18 years, so be it. But how do you know that the Cowboys won't win the Super Bowl in 18 years? What are you saying? You don't know that. Nobody knows that. Let me help him out. Maybe Jerry Jones is going to pass away in 18 years. That's what it is. And so you have to recover from that mess that Jerry did. And then you got to, rebuild that thing. And then maybe they can come out of it in 18 years. Is that what you're trying to tell us, brother? That's what you mean? I don't know. But you really don't know that. They might win this year or the year after. You don't know that. But let's move on to another illogical take. The hate for Dak Prescott is just unparalleled. And even Cowboy fans don't like Dak Prescott. Let me tell you something. Dak Prescott is better than Tony Romo. I said that. You can come on, you jump on that if you want to. He better than Tony Romo. Now, he shouldn't have played in that playoff game his rookie year against Green Bay. I give you that. I believe Romo should have came back and led the Cowboys in the playoffs. I truly believe that. But over the process of time, he's been better than that. He's been better than Tony Romo. Yeah. Go look up their division records and see. Hey, yeah, Dak Prescott is on the NFC East. And I'm not trying to hear how, the NFC East wasn't. I don't care. As long as you winning. You win your division consistently and you have a chance. And he's done that. Dak Prescott doesn't even have a losing record as a starter. Okay? Tony Romo can't make that claim. No. But anyway, let's move on. This hate for Dak Prescott is unparalleled. Now, I'm not a big fan of Dak Prescott, but I don't hate him either. But one guy said, and I don't know who this cat is. He had a little shady take, and he's a Cowboy hater. So whatever little shady comment he had toward Dak Prescott, you take that with a grain of salt. But he wasn't very perspective at all. But here's the thing. Trayvon Diggs cussed out Dak Prescott on the field in training camp. And he said because that happened, he equated that to the whole team doesn't respect Dak Prescott. Really? Okay, so explain to me what was going on with Micah Parsons and Tyler Biadasz. Have they lost respect for what's number 11? What's his name? Micah Parsons. Yeah, him. We gonna lose respect for him? See, the thing is, the young man, he should have come down here in the 90s. Because that's how That's how people talk when they competitive toward each other. He been in the locker room before. He's been there. They talk like that in training camp and in the locker room. In the 90s, do y'all remember this guy by the name of Charles Haley? Do y'all remember him? I do. Well, Charles Haley was absolutely crazy. And you just didn't, you had to be careful when you was around him. But Charles Haley was crazy. Yeah. How do I know that? Because Troy Aikman said it. Michael Irvin said it. Ken Norton said it. Emmitt Smith, to a certain extent, just looked at him like he was crazy. So I was down here, I saw this. The man was crazy. Yeah, he was crazy. But that doesn't mean he didn't have respect for his teammates. They just talked like that in the training camp and in the locker room. It's just like if I get some of y'all on the domino table, I'm gonna talk crazy to you while I'm beating the brakes off of you. Don't think that you can come down here and beat me. You might get close, but I'm gonna beat the brakes off of you. Come on down here. But it's called competitive spirit. They talk crazy to each other like that. Listen, Trayvon Diggs has respect for the quarterback and vice versa. They talk like that when they are competitive like that. They fight. They do that kind of stuff in training camp. It happens. But because it was the Dallas Cowboys, it got overblown. And because it was Dak Prescott, it was really overblown. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Another thing about Dak Prescott, he threw a couple of interceptions in training camp. Does that mean he's going to throw 15 interceptions again? That doesn't mean that. But they overemphasize that stuff. Yeah, they did that. But they never said that Dak Prescott was burning these folks, in particular Trayvon Diggs and some of these other boys, in training camp with pinpoint passes. But because they harped on the bad. That's what they do. See, that's being illogical. If you're going to hate, be balanced with the hate. You know what I mean? Okay, so what about this other thing that I heard, which is utterly ridiculous? This right here was just real ridiculous. These guys got on here on whatever little podcast or show that they had on the internet or whatever it was. And I heard it on the radio, and I'm just like, really? Y'all don't have anything else better to do? This cat said that there's only 3 teams that would trade for Dak Prescott if there was no money involved. Just 3. That's it. That's all. Straight up. Just 3. And I'm just like, really? What executive have you talked to, brother? Have you come down here and talked to anybody? No. He was up north somewhere. I told you, stop paying attention to these cats up there. Come down here and ask the team and some of these executives and some of these Cowboy insiders about how they feel about Dak Prescott. Come on down here. But you know why he did that? Because he wanted to get clicks on his little show. Yeah, I don't care how big it is. It's still little us. We don't care about what he got to say up there. But it trickled down here because it started getting a lot of clicks, and that's what he wanted. But he had no basis of why he said that other than he wanted to get clicks. That was it. He hadn't talked to no executives. He definitely hadn't talked to no Cowboys down here. No. But because it was the Dallas Cowboys, and in particular Dak Prescott, they just had to throw it out there. And that was before the preseason even started. He threw that out there. Yeah. 3 teams straight up would trade for Dak Prescott. That was it. Another ridiculous take. And this man, I don't have any respect for this guy at all. I wouldn't go on his show. I wouldn't talk to him. Look, I'm just a small time guy. I wouldn't talk to this guy at all. And that's Skip Bayless. I've known Skip Bayless since he was down here in Dallas. He's always been controversial. That's his MO. And the reason why I lost respect for him is because of what he said about Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin almost died in front of all of us on national TV. And this knucklehead, yeah, I'm going to call, this the only person I'm going to call out his name. This knucklehead here said that the game should continue on. He did that on purpose because he knew it would get attention on his show. Look, man, there's some attention that we just don't need to have. Okay? And the life of a person is not worth attention. Not like that. We just talking about a game, doc. But that guy there, when he did that, hey, listen, I just stopped, I lost all respect for him. I'll never look at anything he puts out there. And it doesn't matter if he's had Richard Sherman, trying to have Richard Sherman on this show. Doesn't matter to me. I like Richard Sherman, but hey, I'm not going to look at it. No. Okay. So what did he have to say? He said that Dak Prescott won't be able to throw touchdown passes because Michael Parsons is the team leader now. What does, huh? Dak Prescott that fragile? So, okay, so Michael Parsons seems to be the leader of the team. So now that equates to Dak Prescott will not be able to throw touchdown passes, or he couldn't throw touchdown. Man, get out of here with that nonsense. Nobody's listening to that. No, man, that's ridiculous. Do you see what kind of illogical? This is supposedly a Cowboy fan now. I told you, some Cowboy fans, yes, we can be Looney Tune. That's a Looney Tune right there. Yeah. Stop listening to Skip Bayless. That's all I can tell you. Stop listening to him. He's worthless. Unless he can be controversial and get black people on his show so they can have hot black take. Yeah, I'm being racial about it because he wants to draw the black audience. So he has to have black people on there and have hot black takes. He knows what he's doing. He's a genius when it comes to that, but it's diabolical in how he does it. But I won't fall for that nonsense. I stopped looking at that show a long time ago. So now, this hate toward the Dallas Cowboys, listen, have it if you want to, but at least be logical about it. So, I hate some of y'all because you're ugly, stinky, rotten, hateful Cowboy haters. But I do mean that in the sports sense. It's nothing personal. So, with that being said, just know that the Dallas Cowboys are still and always will be America's team. And you can hate them all you want to, but that's never going to change. You understand that? This is Sim with Golden Butter Sports, letting that butter spread.